Hey there, I'm Jake, and this is the first Yoga for Dudes free class. And today we'll do a lot of work getting clear on our foundation, how you place your hands, how you place your feet. And that'll really govern your entire experience. And so buckle up. Here we go. Let's get to the mat. You'll take a comfortable seat, and you'll hear us yoga teachers say that a lot. And it'll be like, what in the world does that mean? And you'll often see us yogis sit cross-legged, and it looks cool, all right? But for a lot of folks, especially us guys, if you're tighter, like my knees are still borderline above my hips. And if your knees are above your hips, it's gonna bind your psoas and your hip flexors, and it'll quickly cut off the circulation into your feet. So the feet could quickly become numb. And so you're gonna wanna sit up or sit on your calves, like I usually do, okay? So that your knees are below your hips. And here we go. You rest your hands in your lap, close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose, lift your shoulders up, and exhale out your mouth. Shoulders down and back. Twice more, deep breath in, shoulders lift up, and exhale out your mouth. Okay, and once more, your biggest breath all day in through the nose, and a long breath out your mouth. Relax your jaw. Let your lips softly come to touch. And in yoga, we use this breathing technique where you breathe deeply in and out through your nose. So engage that now. Deep breath in through the nose, and back out the nose. Okay, just a way to make sure you don't over effort. If you ever need to reconnect to this deep breath, you just go ahead and take a break and reconnect to it. And bring your palms to touch at your center, and bow your face down towards your heart. Release your hands into your lap, lift your chin, and blink your eyes open. Here we go. I'm going to start standing at the top of your mat. Okay, and just how you place your feet really matters here. So you want to make sure your feet are at least hips width apart. That's 2 fist width apart. Okay, because we tend to be a little bit broader. Okay, that might be a little bit wider than you might have heard in the past if you've tried yoga before. Okay, I just like to have that foundation so it's aligned all the way up through your legs. And you're going to stand tall, shoulders back. Inhale, take a deep breath in, reach up, arms overhead, and exhale, arms out at your side. Twice more like that. Deep breath in, reach up, and exhale, arms back down at your side. Okay, and a full breath in, root down to reach tall, weight in the heels. And this exhale, you're gonna bow forward, bend your knees a lot to touch the floor. Okay, common misconception with a lot of forward folds is that you're trying to get your legs straight here. Okay, you really want to bend them as much as you have to touch and to release your back. So you don't want to jam your legs straight at the expense of your low back straining. Bend your knees enough. Okay, then inhale. Now straight legs lift halfway up. Hands to your shins, as tall as you need to get an extension. And exhale, bow. And twice more. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Okay, once more. Inhale, lengthen your spine so that your gaze slightly forward. And exhale, hands to the mat for tabletop. Okay, hands and knees. Just line yourself with your wrists straight across your mat. So your wrists make these creases, like as if you were wearing a watch. You want to make sure it's parallel with that front edge of your mat. Okay, and for us dudes, the center of the wrist right underneath the outer shoulder might mean that your first finger, or even your first 2 fingers, come clear off your mat, all right? So they don't make yoga mats wide enough for us dudes usually, all right? So if you tend to be broader in your shoulders, it's okay if your first finger or 2 come off. Okay, and inhale, arch your back, look forward, and exhale, round your spine. Look towards your navel. Twice more like that. Inhale, arch your back, look forward, Exhale, round your spine. Okay, inhale again, arch your back. And exhale, round, just warming up your spine. And with your next in-breath, find a neutral spine and pelvis. Okay, tuck your toes under if they aren't already. Step back for a plank, like the top of a push-up. Wrists went under your shoulders, legs straight. Exhale, bend your elbows for a low plank, like the bottom of a push-up. Lower your hips to the floor, point your feet for a cobra. Inhale, come on up. Pull your chest forward. Enough bend in your elbows to keep your shoulders back and your low back feeling clear. Okay, so again, guys, if you're tighter in your shoulders, you're gonna have to bend your elbows more than you think to set your shoulders back. Okay, then roll over your knees for tabletop. Make sure your hands are straight across for down dog. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Like an upside down V shape on your mat. And step your feet about hips width apart. It's about 4 to 5 inches apart. And if your low back is tight here, if you feel it straining at all, go wider with your feet. They could literally go nearly as wide as your mat. Then bend your knees halfway towards the floor. Bend the knees a lot. Widen your knees as wide as your feet. Without letting your knees knock in, look at your knees, make sure they're straight over your feet. Press your arms straight to get your thighs to plug up into their hip sockets and create a release in your back, a little arch. Okay, you're really prioritizing that health in the low back, that healthy position, rather than jamming your legs straight in an effort to stretch them out. Okay? Okay, only straighten your legs so far as you can keep that lift in your back. Okay, and bend your knees, look forward. Okay, you're gonna step to the top of your mat. You can take your feet as wide as you have to on your mat to step forward. You can bend your knees as much as you need to walk it forward. Okay, straighten your feet out, touch the floor in front of you, bend your knees enough to touch. Inhale, legs straight, halfway up. Hands up onto your shins, as tall as you have to, even up to your knees if you need to feel an extension out of the low back. Exhale, bow forward again, touch the floor. Inhale, arms overhead, come up to stand. Exhale, arms in at your side. Full breath in, reach your arms up. And exhale, bow forward, touch the floor. Hey, get your fingertips on the floor and shift weight into your right foot. Step your left foot way back for a lunge. Okay, bend your right knee right over your ankle. Adjust so your back foot's completely vertical. And then come up, hands on your right thigh. Root your right heel heavy. Look down for balance. As you're balanced, hands on your hips, shoulders back, square your hips. And as you're steady here, arms reach overhead for a high lunge. Reroot your right heel, stay grounded in your hips. From the hips up, create a lift. And so you're balanced, you could slowly, just slightly look up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Hop up onto your left fingertips and inhale, twist. Reach your right arm up. Yeah, fingertips. Especially for us dudes, okay? If you're tighter in the shoulders, this is gonna demand that you muscularize your arm and plug the left head of your arm bone into its shoulder socket. It'll also just give you a little bit more height as you twist. Okay, exhale, right hand down and step it forward. Switch sides, left foot forward, right foot back for a lunge. Okay, you're gonna come up, hands on your left thigh. Root your left heel heavy to get grounded. And you come forward on that back foot so it's vertical. You'll get a boost all the way up the back of your leg to your low back. Hands on your hips. Square your hips to the front. And as you're balanced here, reach your arms up. It's okay to look down to keep your balance. Reroot that left heel. Okay, every time you come up, it'll tend to uproot you. Reroot. And then so you're steady, you can look up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Come onto your right fingertips and inhale, twist, open, left arm up. Tilt your gaze up. Spin your chest towards the ceiling. And exhale, Hands to the mat. You're gonna step back, down dog. And bring your feet to touch at the back of your mat. Come forward for a plank. Look at your right hand. You turn it just a 1/4 inch to the right for a side plank. Rotate onto your right hand, right side of foot. Stack your feet. Lift your hips. Okay, if you need more stability, left foot forward in half lunge. Okay, otherwise, stack your feet. Hips high. Look up. Exhale, lower your left hand down next to your right. Straighten turn your left hand slightly left, just slightly for a side plank. Left hand, left side of foot, stack your feet, hips up. Okay, if you need more stability, right foot forward. Otherwise, stack the feet. And lower your right hand down next to your left. Straighten your hands out. Bend your elbows for low plank. Keep your shoulders lifted as you lower your hips for cobra. Come on up for air. Again, enough bend in the elbows. Set your shoulders back. And exhale. Roll over your knees. Tuck your toes. Make sure your hands are straight. And lift your hips. Down dog. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and walk or step to the top of your mat. Give yourself as much space as you need to step it forward. Feet straight. Inhale, halfway up, legs straight. Hands on your hips, shoulders back as you stand. And take a wide stance on your mat. Face the wide edge of your mat. And take a good wide stance. How you'll know in a ballpark measurement is if you reach your arms out to the side, your ankles will be right underneath your wrists. Okay, make sure your feet are straight. Turn your right foot towards the front edge of your mat. Bend your right knee deeply, right over your ankle. Okay, make sure that right foot is directly straight, your knees right over your foot. And square your chest and hips towards the wall you're facing. Okay, for side angle pose, right elbow on your right thigh, left arm by your ear. And turn your chest towards the ceiling, reach out through your left fingertips, and look up so much as it doesn't strain your neck. And hands to your hips, come on up. Straighten your right leg, right foot turns in, left foot turns out. Bend your left knee deeply for warrior two. Reach your arms out, square your chest and your hips towards the wall you're facing. And side angle pose, left elbow on your left thigh, right arm by your ear. Spin your chest towards the ceiling. Keep your left knee widening. Look up if it doesn't hurt your neck. All right, hands on your hips, come on up. And straighten both legs. Turn your feet towards the wide edge of your mat. Make sure your feet are straight and even with one another. And bow down the middle. Touch the floor in front of you. You bend your knees as much as you have to touch. Okay, as much as you need to clear your back. Okay, that might mean you bend your knees a lot. Okay, the goal isn't to force your legs straight. Okay, in fact, that'll often crank on the back. Okay, you really want to focus on releasing your back. Only so much as you feel release, you could straighten your legs and bow. Right. And come onto your fingertips, straighten your arms, lift halfway up. Wiggle your feet a little closer, a couple inches towards one another. Hands on your hips. Come on up. Stand. Okay, turn to the front, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Touch the floor and step back for plank. At the top of your push-up, legs straight, keep that plank shape the whole way down. For low plank, inhale, cobra. And exhale, down dog. And we'll go right knee forward for pigeon. Your right knee all the way to the right edge of your mat. And yeah, for guys, the right knee all the way to that edge of the mat. So you're spacious enough to keep your hips square as you come onto your forearms. And allow your hips to settle back and heavy towards the floor. And just give it a breath for your hips to open. Hey, come on up. Step back. Switch sides, left knee wide, okay, all the way behind your left wrist to the left edge of your mat. And come onto your forearms, give it a breath. Let your hips sit back. Stretch back through your back foot so there's no twist or turn in that back foot. Okay, and come on up. Place your hands, stretch it back. Down dog. And lower down to sit and swing your legs out in front of you. Lie on your back. For a bridge pose, bend your knees. Place your feet, ankles underneath your knees, feet hips width apart. And root your feet down and lift your hips up. Lift your low back up. Swing your arms alongside you, palms face up. And you walk your shoulders one at a time up and underneath you. To lift your chest. Okay, so much as your knees don't turn out, you can lift your hips up, chest up. And lower your hips back down on the floor. Press your hands against the root of your thighs. Keep the back of your head down. Neck neutral, chin perpendicular with the floor. And reach your arms out like cactus arms, palms face up. Hey, wiggle your feet as wide as your mat and let both knees windshield wiper right. And rest your right foot across your left thigh. Look left, root your left shoulder down. Okay, come on back. And second side, both knees windshield wiper left. Rest your left foot across your right thigh. For a supine twist, look to the right, root your right shoulder down. Okay, and bring it back to center. Bend both knees in, hold your shins just at your kneecaps. Engage your feet and you could either hold it still or rock side to side, whichever feels better on your back. And rock it up to sit. Please, you're gonna swing your right leg out, bend your left knee in. It's called Janu Shirsasana. You twist to the right, reach with your left hand for your right foot or shin or thigh. Okay, whatever you could get. Okay, these seated forward folds are the most challenging for guys. You have just less freedom to stretch. You have a ton of stability, there's more on the floor, but you've got less freedom to stretch and bow. So you gotta really focus in on rooting this leg down, okay, to really protect your low back. And you can hold any part of the leg you could get. Use your right hand to the outside of your right leg on the floor to tip your weight more on your left hip. Twist right and bow. Okay, and come on up. Second side. Okay, left leg out. Right knee in for Janu Shirsasana. You're gonna twist over that left leg. Reach your right hand for your left thigh, shin. Someday your foot. And more importantly than reaching your foot, get this left leg to root down. Okay, that's gonna plug your thigh into its hip socket and protect your low back. Okay, come on up. Swing both legs out wide. Toes point up, knees point up. Root your legs down to create a lift in your back, hands behind you. Yeah, it's most important, legs root down to create that lift. And only so much as you can keep your legs straight and your low back lifted. You bow down the middle. Okay, if you go to come forward, if your knees lift up, if your back tucks under, all right? Stay more upright, protect your back. And yeah, that takes some time. Okay, for me, about 5 years to come forward. Okay, so be patient, work your legs. We've put Louie to sleep, apparently. This is Louie, my buddy, my dog. All right, you made it through your first Yoga for Dudes class, and Hope you've enjoyed. My name's Jake. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Namaste.